Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to a brand new episode of my weekly playlist series. It's Friday, so that means it's time for me to share with you guys the games I have been playing during the week. I'll give you guys my thoughts and opinions on these games, whether I think you guys should check them out or not. Of course, I'd like to hear what your guys' thoughts are on the games, if you played them or not. I also want to hear about the games you guys have been playing, as you guys give me some really good ideas. Whenever you guys talk about the different games and describe them to me, I've picked up a couple of games just hearing about them that you guys play, so I really appreciate that. And I also appreciate anybody who gives me a suggestion on a game you think I should try out and play. You guys have suggested some really good titles over the last couple of years that I've been doing this series, and two of these games that I'm sharing with you, there's two games tonight, are actually two games that were recommended to me by my good buddy Dean here on YouTube. He recommended these games for me, and I'm so glad that I played them. This first one here I'm going to share with you guys is actually a continuation from playing it from last week, and then I got a new one that I had actually just started yesterday playing, and I'm really enjoying it. So we'll get started here. The first one, they're both for Xbox One. I've just been back on an Xbox One kick, playing a lot of modern games here and games that I missed and stuff. And this was definitely one that I had missed about and didn't really know anything about it until my buddy Dean told me about it. I'm really glad he did because I'm loving the game. And that was Observer System Redux. So this was originally launched in 2017 for Xbox One, PS4, and the PC. It sold really well as an indie game, first-person cyberpunk horror game, which is awesome because I like cyberpunk worlds, I like horror and stuff, so it's a really cool combination. Well, the game did so well that they decided to do a remastered version, basically, and re-released it for Xbox One and PS4, but it was also enhanced for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and the PC, and updated with ray tracing and the graphics and stuff, but it still looks wonderful on my Xbox One X. I watched a couple comparison videos of the original version to the new version and saw the great graphical upgrade they did to it. Made the characters look better, the lighting and everything is awesome. They also added some new missions and new gameplay to this, as I'll read you guys the back. So, what if your fears were hacked? The year is 2084, in a dark cyberpunk world shattered by plagues and wars. Become a neural police detective and hack into the jagged minds of others. Make use of anything they felt, thought, or remembered to solve the case and catch the elusive killer. So System Redux is rebuilt and augmented for next generation. Observer System Redux is the definitive vision of one of the most acclaimed cyberpunk stories in games. So become an observer. So you play as Daniel Larziski, an elite investigator portrayed by Rutger Hauer. So this was his last voice acting performance that he did before he passed away. And then also talks about, it has new stories, so they actually added 3 new side missions that are exclusive to the System Redux version. And that one was Errant Signal, Her Fearful Symmetry, and It Runs in the Family. And then also talks about expanded gameplay, so you have new game mechanics, redesigned stealth, as well as boasting 4K resolution, upgraded textures, jaw-dropping ray tracing, and HDR lighting. So, a really interesting game. I definitely think you guys should give a check out. If they recently, I was July like the 16th or 17th, the physical version of this game came out, and it launched at only $29.99, which is a great price for this game. It's actually, I think online digitally, I think it's been going on sale for like $20, because I know my buddy just picked it up recently and he only had to pay $20 for it. Highly recommend you guys check out this game. It is awesome. I actually beat it this week. This has been a pretty rare occasion where a game has just really captured my time, and it just kept making me want to play through the game more and more. And so for several nights, I just put a lot of time in and just went through and beat this game. Now what's really great is this has an overall main story, which is, this is a story-driven game, very narrative-driven and story, but there's also side stuff that you can do in the game. So your character is a detective who's able to hack into people's minds, which is really cool, because this is a cyberpunk world, so everybody's all connected with, cybernetics, whether they have optical implants or stuff in their brain, or they upgraded their skeletal structures or replaced their arms and legs. So in this kind of world, in cyberpunk worlds, people are all kinds of connected to technology. Well, in this world, there was a thing called the nanophage, which is basically like a virus that affects people who have implants, and that ended up killing a whole bunch of people. And then after that, a great war broke out, which is basically like World War III, and humanity was kind of like destroyed. The world was all kind of messed up and wiped out. And in the ashes, this company, big corporation called Chiron, kind of took over the world and rebuilt humanity, and basically everybody follows what they are. They're like basically like the government and the police force. Everything is all based around them, and they have everybody's lives controlled that are hooked up to their stuff, whether they have their propaganda out there and everything like that. And so your character, Daniel Lazrisky, is a police detective for them, but he's a neuroscientist, so he's what they call an observer. So he's somebody who can actually hack into people's minds and learn secrets about them and see what they saw, and he's able to solve crimes and stuff that way. And so that's what your character is. So your character gets a call from his son Adam that he's like in trouble and something wants to see him, and so then you go to his apartment complex, and then that's where the story takes up. Now you guys know I don't like to ruin story, so don't give away plot points or anything, but basically, you know, you're going to find out what happened at your son's building, and then there ends up being like a killer there, and you have to try to solve the crimes for that. And it's just a really fascinating story. I love that it has all kinds of dark horror elements to the game as well, because this is a horror game. There's psychological horror things that happen to you, and like your character, and see weird shit. The music, the ambience is just amazing. This is one of those games you definitely gotta play it with a headset. Like I said, I have a nice Turtle Beach headset from Xbox One, and I play all my games on there, especially late at night. It's great because it doesn't make any noise. No one else hears it but me, so I can keep the TV down low and it doesn't bother anybody, and I can have the headphones set at max, and it really makes you feel like you're in the world, and you can hear things in the background environment and stuff behind you that you might not hear unless you had like surround sound in your house set up. So I definitely recommend having the headphones, because it really just sucks you into the world. It's just really cool. You can interrogate people as well, so there are different tenants around the building, and there's different floors, and you can actually ask them different questions and stuff, which is really cool. Some of the different side quests actually have different ways or outcomes. You know, you can do different things, will affect things in the world, which is really cool. I like that, having those choices. This does actually have two different endings, and now when this game was originally launched, you only had one save slot, and when you beat the game, you'd have to actually go back and beat the whole story again in order to get the other ending, which you can do either ending at the end of the game. It gives you a choice. Well, one thing I thought that was really cool about this is they actually created several different checkpoints throughout the story. So there's no way to actually save. The game just auto-saves for you, but you have pretty much after any like major thing, like the very beginning of the game, you'll have a save file, and then you beat another mission, there's another save file. So anything you do, like big major things, they'll actually have a little checkpoint and the name for it, so you can actually reload older saves if you miss something, because this game does have missable stuff depending on how far you progress the story, and you may miss out on side quests and stuff, but you can always load that previous save. And what's really cool is right at the end, the game does create a save there, and you can load that up, and then you could choose the other ending and see the two different endings that are in the game. So I thought that was really cool. I like that, having more than one ending. Really enjoyed this game. Now this is a first-person horror game, so you have a first-person view. The visuals are just amazing. Graphics are great. The lighting, you know, with if you have the Xbox Series X, you know, or the Series X, you'll be able to have the ray tracing and all that kind of cool stuff. But even on my Xbox One X, you know, it just looks phenomenal. The voice acting is just great. You know, I love the people they pick for the voice actors. I really enjoyed the story. You know, it just kept having me, like, I was just sucked in. And this game does have a lot of puzzle elements. You know, there's stuff you have to figure out, clues and stuff you have to observe and learn. Like, you may see like a door that has a password, you know, has a keypad, and you have to figure out the password. Now, of course, you know, you can look it up, but it feels so much better to figure this stuff out. And I didn't use a guide at all, even though they're available online. There's no, you know, physical strategy guides or anything. But this is one of those games I highly recommend, try to figure it on your own. It's just that much more of an enjoyable experience when you look at the work that developers put into this game and the world and everything and the intricate puzzles and stuff and how you figure some stuff out. And sometimes you'll just figure something out on your own just by investigating. You'll search a room and stuff. What's another thing that's cool is Daniel actually has two different vision modes. Well, actually three if you count his normal vision mode. But because since he's, has that cyberpunk enhancements, he actually has a mode where he can scan machines and stuff and tells him information about it, and he can find things. He also has another thing where he can detect like human blood or a body, or he can look up like claw marks, or that someone was stabbed if he found a dead body, and he could try to piece together as he is an officer of a crime scene and stuff and try to figure out what went on with it. So you get to do investigation stuff as well, which is really cool. There are a whole bunch of different achievements for this game that you can go for to unlocking. There are collectibles in this game. There are 75 of them. There are these little like plague cards, they call them, which is like pictures of different people who got the nanophage. And it's really cool looking. I'm pretty sure that they probably is the different people that worked on the game, like maybe the developers and family and stuff. They pick their pictures because usually games like to do that. So you do have those 75 to find. I did not find all of them. However, I did 100% beat all the side missions and side quests. The only thing I used, I went on guide, was just to make sure I didn't miss any missions. I didn't look up how to do them. I figured that out on my own. It's just that much more of an enjoyable experience if you unlock everything on your own. Now, if you go through and beat the story and everything, you could probably get about 7 to 8 hours. But if you do everything like I did, even longer if I went and got all the collectibles, which I'm going to eventually replay this game again just because I liked it that much and I want to get the collectibles. But that's when I'll use a guide for it, because it kind of spoils stuff. But I got about 14 hours out of this game and really enjoyed myself. It was a fantastic game. You highly recommend, owe it to yourselves, guys, to check out Observer System Redux. Like I said, you can get this on Xbox One. It's compatible on Xbox Series X, PS4, PS5, or the PC. If you want to buy a physical copy, it's only $30. I do got to let you guys know this is another one of those kind of limited print run games. My local game stores all got 2 copies, and one of the employees bought one there, and then I bought the other copy, and a few other stores have them. GameStops didn't have any of them at all, and none of my Walmarts or Targets had a copy, but definitely is a title I think you guys should check out. If you love cyberpunk, if you love horror stuff, it's great because this, like I said, has really cool, trippy horror shit, like when you jack into somebody's mind and just see the warped and crazy shit that's going on in there, and the depraved shit, and there's sexual content in the game, blood and violence. Now, there is no actual combat or fighting in this game. However, you can die in a few different spots in the world, and I don't want to ruin how that happens, but it is possible to die in this game, and there can be some pretty difficult parts that comes with that, with you having to use stealth and things like that. But overall, it was just a really enjoyable experience, and I absolutely loved the game. And Dean, I want to thank you, man, so much for letting me know about this game. I had an absolute blast playing it these last 2 weeks. I beat it, and I do look forward to eventually playing through it again, as I really did enjoy the story, and I think you guys will love it too, so definitely check it out. And the other game we're going to talk about here, I actually just started playing last night. Finally came in the mail through GameFly. Was quite a fiasco, but I'll talk about that in my next pickups video. But this, again, another one recommended to me by Dean, and that is a game called Cloudpunk. And this is on the Xbox One, also compatible with Xbox Series X, PS4, PS5, PC. I think it's even on the Nintendo Switch and stuff. And so this is another cyberpunk game, but the graphics of this are what I would compare to like a Minecraft or a Lego type of world. It's another indie game, and it's really cool. You're as a main character. She's down here. Her name is Renea, and she starts out, and I'll tell you, it says, "Don't miss a delivery. Don't ask what's in the package. Your name is Renea. This is your first night working for Cloudpunk, the semi-legal delivery company based in the sprawling city of Nivalis." So your character basically is arrived in this city, and she's kind of coming from the scraps. She lost stuff in her previous life. She was a musician, and her life kind of fell apart, and so she had to basically sell everything off, and now she needs to work her way back up. And so she started working for this semi-legal, as they call it, delivery service called Cloudpunk, who basically is like, you're a delivery person, you deliver stuff, and don't ask questions. we don't care what our clients mail. You know, if they wanted to mail a dead body as an example, you know, they don't want to know about it. Don't ask, just do your job and you'll get paid. And as you play through the game, you know, you start unraveling more of the story, her past and stuff like that. And you do get to run into side quests along with the main quests, which is really cool. I'm not sure how long this game is, but I have heard that it is pretty decent amount of game. People are talking about like 12 to like 15 hours, or depending if you how much stuff you guys do as far as you get into like the side missions and like going after collectibles and stuff. I really do like the visuals in this game. They do look really good, and it basically kind of reminds me of like Cyberpunk but with Legos, because the way that people are, they look kind of blocky, like 8-bit, but they kind of remind me of Legos. So for me, this is kind of like Lego Cyberpunk, and it's just really cool. What's really awesome is you start out with third person when you're flying the vehicle, but then you can do third person with your character, or you can actually go into first person mode. Now, they did have an update this year to make the vehicles have first person mode, and that just looks amazing. It's just really cool flying around the city. Now, they haven't released it for consoles yet. They said they're looking into adding that into the consoles. They just don't know when, but that's something I would really love. It's just really good. Voice acting is done really well. Now, whenever you talk to characters, you know, obviously you can see they're blocky, but you actually get to see a nice little animated picture of them, and that actually, the picture actually has those people's face, and they actually look kind of like real people, and it actually, their voices, their mouths and stuff move as they talk with the text, which is really cool. I found out that this does have a overall world map that you can check out, which is cool, because this city is absolutely huge, and your vehicle can go up, and it can also go, you know, vertical. It can go down, horizontal. You're going to slide left and right. And so this takes place with a city that's basically up in the clouds, and there's multiple different tiered levels to the city and stuff, which is really cool. So you can go pretty much anywhere you want to at any time. Obviously, you don't want to run into buildings or stuff, but it's a really cool, intricate city. I don't know if there's any daytime setting, as I've, you know, like I said, just been playing for a few hours and did a few missions, and it just was, you know, at nighttime, and the city just looks great. The bright neon colors, the whole way the city looks, the atmosphere, people running around and stuff is really cool. The music is also phenomenal. So this has an amazing soundtrack. I just love the score they have for this as you fly around the city, as you walk around the city, because you can get out of the vehicle and interact with characters and stuff. There's shops where you can buy stuff. You actually have an apartment that you get to go to where you live, and you get to actually upgrade that. You can actually get new vehicles, which these are hover vehicles basically, which is really cool, and so you can upgrade those as well. I don't know if there's any combat or anything in the game, as like I said, I'm still so early in it, but it's just a really fantastic game. And this game only cost me like $8. I picked this up from GameFly, and it goes between like $15 to $35, just depending on where you get it. I'm so glad that I got this Cloudpunk game, though. It is really good. It has a small install size too. I didn't mention that this week like I did last week about Observer System Redux. It was about a 6.5 gig game. This one's also a little over 6 gigs. And then it did have a 2 gig update where they're fixing some issues and stuff. I have not had any graphical glitches or issues or anything with Cloudpunk at all. I'm just really loving the game. It's one of those games you can kind of like sit back and relax, and I'm really like, you know, sucked into the world again like I was with Observer. So this is definitely one that I would like to beat. Got interesting characters as well. Really like the main character. I love the voice acting, the music, you know, just everything about this game is just really fun and really cool. So Dean, again, thank you so much for recommending this to me. I'm really having a blast with it. So guys, we'll do our quick little recap. You know, we talked about Observer System Redux, and I did want to mention one thing here. I almost forgot I was going to talk to you guys about. Last week, you know, I installed this game. I had nothing. There was no issues at all. It did have a couple gig update this week, and I updated it. And then I've been noticing that the game was kind of lagging in some places. You could see that when it would load or something, that sometimes the frame rate would drop. So that was kind of disappointing. Like, the game was running fine until then. So I don't know if maybe it's my Xbox One X. I just need to clean the cache off it, or if when they did that update, it did something to the game. But I did want to warn you guys, there are some parts where it did slow down a little bit when it was trying to load. But other than that, it really didn't hinder too much of my enjoyment of the game. Like, I really enjoyed it, and had to sit through and beat it from point A to point B. And I had to beat the game. It was an interesting story, really cool game. I definitely think you guys should check out it. It's a horror cyberpunk first-person adventure game. Definitely think you guys should check out. Very cool game. And then we also talked about Cloudpunk, another cyberpunk game, but this is like an 8-bit type of world that's 3D. Basically, to me, it looks kind of like Lego people, so I basically think this is like a Lego cyberpunk game, but it's really cool. So you play as Renea. You're a delivery person. You're working for a company that's doesn't ask questions and stuff, and then the story just goes from there. It's really cool because the city's up in the world, you know, just got phenomenal music, voice acting is great, main story to go through, side missions and stuff to do, just a really enjoyable experience. And like I said, these were recommended to me by my good buddy Dean. He said check these out, and I'm so glad that I picked them up for my collection, as they are awesome, and I think you guys should add them to your collection. But I also want to know your guys, if you guys have played them before, what your thoughts are on them. I also want to hear about the games you guys are playing, because that gives me great ideas on games to check out. And if you have any recommendations on a game you think I should check out, let me know, as you guys always do recommend really fun titles. I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care. You guys have an amazing day. Sleepy will see you guys next time.